Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga section. I'm here today to bring you a review for My Hero Academia episode number 20. So we start things off with Deku versus Shinzo, and the fight is pretty straightforward. We find out Shinzo's quirk, and it's a brainwashing quirk. And how his quirk works is that he asks you a question. Once you answer his question, if you answer his question, your putty in his hands, and he can just basically do anything that he wants to do. Anything that he says to you to do, you will essentially do it. The weakness to his quirk is that it takes a little bump. If someone bumps into you, takes a little shock, a little force, a little whatever you want to call it, then you'll snap out of it, then you're good to go, and then it's back to square one. You've got to ask you a question. If you answer again, same routine, rinse and repeat kind of thing. So that's how his quirk works, and we see it implemented within this episode. We saw the start of it last episode, but we see it implemented within this episode as well. So he asks Deku a question. And the way he was smart with it as well. Shinzo was smart with it as well. He asked him a question. He asked Deku a question, but he targeted it as an insult towards his friend. So obviously Deku got mad, so he answered the question. So once Deku was in his control, he's like, all right, cool, turn around and just walk off, go off down. So the fight would have ended in the ring out. So we spend quite a bit of the episode, actually, but we spend a bit of the episode with Deku walking towards out of bounds. And as he's walking out of bounds, he has a moment where he sees a vision of all the past people who had won for before him, and then he realizes, yo, he can move his fingers, and he uses one for all to use one for all in his fingers to create the shock that knocks him out of the brainwashing. And now at that time, it makes you think that the spirits of the people who had won for before was lingering inside Deku, and they enabled him to move. And I would have preferred that, but later on within the episode, we find out through All Might, because he says it wasn't the spirits that did that. It was because apparently he's gotten so good at One for All that he had that vision, and he was just able to move his fingers and will himself out of the brainwashing. You know, I would prefer the spirits of the I would prefer the whole spirits thing, and like, what you just assume it straight off the bat. Well, the majority probably assume straight off the bat, but that's essentially, it wasn't the spirits, it was Deku by himself that enabled him to be Shinzo. So he breaks out of the brainwashing, and then after that it's just a straight fisticuffs fisticuffs fight with Deku, essentially trying to push Shinzo out the way. Not Deku, Shinzo does try a thing where he tries to reverse the tables of him, but essentially Deku wins. Pretty boring fight, as Mike Man said. After that, we see a little bit of backstory to Shinzo. We find out that people just thought bad of him. Not really thought bad of him, but every time they met him, it's like, oh, you're quite brainwashing. That's cool. That's kind of like a villain's kind of, that would be good for villains kind of quirk, isn't it? And so we know he had that kind of life where people just always thinking that, he probably end up villainous. Yeah, because there was times where in the flashback where like his fellow classmates, probably saying it in the joke kind of manner, but they still say it like, don't use your quirk on me kind of thing. So there's probably people who thought he would turn out to be a villain, and yeah, because that just gives us an insight to his back story, because people thought he might end up turning up villainous. So we also find out that throughout the episode that he also applied to be in hero studies, but he didn't make the cut simply because when it comes to people applying to hero studies, their quirks are more suited for battle. Shinzo's quirk is not suited for battle, and this is essentially probably why he didn't make it into hero studies. So he opted for, was it general studies season? And he just really, because he really wants to be a hero, and we can see that determination because he's really going the long route to get in there, being in general studies, doing good in the UA Sports Festival, so he can then be put into hero studies, and then just from hero studies is in the normal process of getting a hero license. So we can see that he is really determined to be a hero, but because he's still a fairly new character, we haven't had much interaction with him. I don't really care what he's trying to do, what he's trying to do in life. So the rest of the episode, so I did kind of touch upon what happened within the scene where Deku goes to the nurse to get his fingers healed, and the only thing new I want to mention is the whole thing where Deku leaves and it's just the nurse and All Might there, and the nurse mentions that Deku said that you was part of the vision as well. This is kind of giving me a red flag for All Might, trying to imply that he might die sometime in the future. So yeah, we had that. The rest of the episode is really focused on Shoto, Mr. Fire and Ice as I call him, and his fight that comes up after that. So we see him walking to the stage to the fight. His dad is not in the stands, like wherever he was walking in, his dad was there as well, and he was like, "Yeah, you need to start using your fire powers, boy. I'm gonna whip you." I'm gonna beat you, kind of thing. And he's like, no, shut up, I'm not using the fire powers, and I'm just gonna do this simply with ice. And then he starts his fight off, and he's forcing, I can't remember what his name is, I'm gonna call him Mr. Tape Man, the guy with the cello tape quirk ability. And that was another quick fight, but what was really impressive about it is how quick, how light, he made light work of him. His ice attack just included a long range, and like I just said, he made quick work, really quick work of him. He was like, "Sorry, I got a bit mad, so I'm sorry." And you just see him at the end, just trying to work the ice. But that is essentially everything to happen within the episode. I don't think it deserves more than a 3-star rating. And call it a review. That cause guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.